economy.
She is not intimidated by numbers and facts. She has managed newsrooms and led business news groups of Investigative Journalism Group, Newsbreak, ABS-CBN, Rappler, and the Philippine edition of Forbes. She had a front row seat as the media industry slowly and reluctantly transitioned into the digital world. She is also a recipient of several journalism awards for her investigative stories. To provide a presentation entitled Battling Fake News with Real Data, let's give it up for Ms. Lala Rimando.
There's a video that I asked to be played before I start.
This is an apple. Some people might try to tell you that it's a banana. They might scream banana, banana, banana over and over and over again. They might put banana in all caps. You might even start to believe that this is a banana. But it's not. This is an apple.
Remember this? Yes, this is one of the videos, well, actually the main video that CNN US put out when Trump kept on calling them fake news. Okay. So, did you see a banana or an apple? Apple. Obviously. But this is the age of fake news, it's post-truth, and everything. It's the age of selfies. It's all about us, about me, about my group, about my reality. Who cares about yours? Some might even say it's freedom of speech, whatever. But then, this is very dangerous because what if my truth clashes with your truth? Your reality is different from mine. Di man pwedeng iba-iba yung realities natin, diba? They also say this is the post-truth era. Wait, post-truth. What does that mean? This is the age where we're not talking about truth anymore. There's a lot of ideas out there na parang nakakatakot, especially for my generation and the generations before me. Siguro yung mga bata, parang they see us as, you know, it's normal for them to be taking selfies and talking in front of the camera. Pero sa amin kasi medyo awkward pa. But really, we have to also understand the world that we're living in now. Okay. I've been in the media industry for almost 2 decades, and before that, I was a banker. Those two industries are really disrupted now. First of all, the business model of media, the main source of resources before for the media was advertising. Easy lang eh, parang we come up with the content, whether it's in a newspaper, on TV, on radio, and then the advertisers would place their content with us. But these days, hindi na ganun eh. Parang, di ba, where do you watch your news? Where do you get your news? On your cell phone, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, even on Snapchat. Ang dami-dami pa. So, the audience is basically bypassing journalists like me, my news organizations as well. And then, for the content, remember when one of the Binays first joined the SONA, and then mukha siyang yung damit niya is parang tela ng ginagamit sa table. A lot of people almost immediately put out a meme mocking her, diba? So ang bilis ngayon ng it did not come from the media. It came from individuals themselves. People don't need journalists to mock someone, to send a message to someone. They can go straight to that person and mock her. Okay, distribution. It used to be that, well, I was part of the Summit Group, Summit Media Group, which published glossy magazines in the Philippines. Remember, pagpupunta kayo ng 7-Eleven or bookstores, marami pang mga glossy magazines doon, di ba? It's a business that Liza Gokwe started in mid-1990s. Less than 20 years after, those magazines are gone because they've decided to halt the print business and shift all their magazines to online. It's really disruptive because even that means yung mga dating nagde-distribute, nagde-deliver ng mga magazines sa offices ninyo, wala na. Yung mga nakikita nyong magazines habang nasa parlor kayo, those are old editions. There might not be new editions anymore unless they're imported. It all boils down to trust, I think. Because for a long time, we journalists, we thought that, we're the gatekeepers of the truth. Yabang namin, no? And sometimes we make mistakes. And some of those mistakes, parang nagpatong-patong over the years that we've lost trust. So we had to assert our gatekeeper role again. So again, my point is that we're being hit from all over. Our business model, the hand that feeds us, our content, our distribution model, and the trust of the audience that we're serving. According to a professor from Illinois State University, he said, social media has made things much worse because it offers an easy route for non-journalists to bypass journalism's gatekeepers so that anyone can publish anything, however biased with a D, inaccurate or fabricated. And ito yung masaklap. It took the truth approximately 6 times as long as falsehood to reach 1,500 people. It means, mas nagba-viral yung fake kesa yung truth. But, it started in I think we felt it very much in 2016 when we had our elections and when here in the Philippines and also in the US, we felt the power of social media and the truth or the falsehood that it's able to penetrate to the citizens and the voters. Fortunately, Filipinos now are more aware of fake news according to the recent Pulse Asia survey. So this is very heartening naman. There's a comparison between the September 2018 and the June 2017 results. In June 2017, they say that 59% of those who were of the survey respondents thought that fake news were widespread on the platforms that they're accessing their news from, which are usually social media. And 39% were aware that, whatever they consumed, it affected their views on politics and government. So 59%, 39%. By 2018, that zoomed to 88% and 51%. So, more or less, alam ng mga tao na may fake news out there and they're aware of it. Okay, I just chose this because it's very current. It just happened a couple of days ago. Remember when Senator Manny Pacquiao gave a very emotional speech in Oxford University. Of course, congratulations came here and there, and then a senator tweeted his congratulations and added that Manny Pacquiao is the first Filipino, if I'm not mistaken, he said, where guests have included blah, blah, blah. He's the first Filipino. obviously, well, probably it's not obvious, but for putting out something like that, for claiming a truth, he was called out. Said no, he's not the first Filipino. It was FVR in 1997, and then Megan Young when she was the Miss World in 2013. So, parang if you're not sure about your facts, you will be checked. Okay. But let's go zoom out again. Why does fake news proliferate? It's obviously part of a strategy. It's a part of a bigger picture. It's not just happening because, naughty lang yung mga tao. It's for political gain, as we've seen it in the US, in the recent election in Brazil, in the Philippines, and other places. It's meant to destabilize. It's meant to silence the critics. We at Rappler before were recipients of these efforts. And even when I was not yet with Rappler, whenever I post anything on social media and I just include the word Duterte there, the trolls, they would swarm and just post so many things, so many nasty things on my page. And sometimes it's nakaka-alarm, di ba? Parang ayoko na nga, hindi na ako magpo-post kasi nandyan na naman sila. So it's really meant to stop you from criticizing whoever their favorite subject is for that day. It's also for profit. Kala nyo sa politics lang. It's very prevalent among the private sector, among those in private sector. Actually, it goes way back. Remember, in late 1990s, this news about John Gok Pongwei's daughter and the snake and Alice Dixon. So I spoke to the family members and they said that news pala started by a competitor in Cebu. They just basically inggit. So they floated that and it became viral. 1990s style, 1980s yata version. So even before, nangyayari na yan. Okay. Sometimes yung iba, parang wala lang. They just want to be naughty. They just want to be mischievous. Okay. So if it's if putting fake news out there is part of a strategy, they use the different tools and tactics. Remember Cambridge Analytica and how it basically made Facebook an unsafe or parang some untrustworthy space already, especially in the US. It's because they gamed the algorithm. It's now algorithm eh. Parang before, I remember when I was with ABS, we were looking at yung parang viewers, how many are tuned in every minute, every second of a particular segment. These days, it's more about how many na ang views, how many na ang reach, algorithm by the second, by the minute. So parang it's really the feedback to us journalists. It doesn't happen the day after the newspaper come out. It's as soon as we post it online, we see the feedback. We know where the readers are coming from, how long they are staying on the page, where are their eyes on the page. We have heat maps to measure that, etc. Did they share it? Did they positively engage with it? Did they bash it, etc.? Okay, and then of course the trolls. And then a major aspect of fake news is planting doubt. It's how they shoot the messenger, because the media's role, we basically embrace our role as the fourth estate. We're not the judiciary, we're not in the executive position, etc. But we're the gatekeepers of the truth. So essentially, we're part of the democratic space. So if we're critical, if we ask critical questions, parang salot kami. Parang alam mo yung sa high school, you don't want to be bothered by someone, alisin mo na lang siya sa barkada mo. Parang ganon. So, the style here is they use fake news to plant doubt. Like, talaga bang sinabi niyo yun? Hindi naman yata sinabi ni President yung ganito. Ang sinabi lang niya ganito, she's just being creative, etc. Okay, so, what to do? Later I'll give some examples of data journalism projects, but let me just run you through some of my experiences in running newsrooms. And one of the things I've learned is to always ask our whys. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng banat lang ng banat, di ba? Gawa lang ng gawa ng stories. We've learned that, especially online, people interact with the news that we're putting out there when, one, it inspires, it entertains, it educates, informs, helps, and rewards. So those are like parang the main themes of content that resonates with our audience. So sometimes when I'm writing a story, I ask myself, am I informing? Am I entertaining my audience? Etc. And then I also ask, who is my audience? Kasi sometimes I'm writing a story or preparing a piece that is for policymakers. I want to expose a wrongdoer in this or that organization. Who is my audience for this? Wala. Okay. Or I'm about to put out something, but is my audience the youth? Baka naman kung long text, they will not want to read it. Yeah. You know, parang they'll scroll and continue. They'll snub it. Parang sayang naman yung effort ko. So, if I know my audience, if I know my target audience, then I know what content I will put out there. Is it text, photos, videos, GIFs, memes, infographic? Dati, I started out as a print journalist eh. So I thought that my words, they're like the only way to tell the truth. No. A picture can say 1,000 words, and they're also very powerful, especially for the young, diba? Is it better to distribute it online or offline? Is it better on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter? How do I send this particular message to my target audience? Okay, so we have strategies like, is this an on-the-go content? Meaning, kasi daw ang mga tao, sometimes they're just scrolling through social media and they're not really, parang they just wanna consume content for that day, be bored, o kaya they're commuting, so they just wanna read the title. Are these the lean forward content? Meaning, they're interactive, they want to watch a video, pero 30-second lang. But there are some audiences who want to consume lean back content. Meaning, dito na yung mga long form. It's usually at the end of the day, when they're done with their dinner, they're preparing, they've already put their kids in bed, they're ready to consume 30-minute video explainers. So it also tells us when we will push our content. There's also what they call scroll stoppers because, di ba, since we're consuming our news on our phone, scroll na ng scroll. So we have to make sure, if you notice yung mga news ngayon, gaganda na ng mga thumbnail photos because they want you to stop scrolling. You don't just read naman the title, di ba? If you like the thumbnail photo, you stop. Okay, I'm just going to go through sample example data journalism projects here and abroad, just to give you an idea. I think there's going to be a session also this afternoon where some students will try to come up with ideas using data journalism. Okay. In South Africa, there was this project where apparently there's a law that schools should not be using asbestos already. So this was a project where different journalists and hindi lang journalists policymakers, people in the government, etc. They investigated, is this happening? And then they mapped it out, they did interactive content, etc. But it became I think it changed some of their laws. Another is Borders by Vox. Okay, the guy behind this project, Johnny Harris, is a typical white guy, but he didn't want to be you know these mga journalists, foreign journalists who come to the Philippines if there's a big event. We call them the parachute journalists. They don't really know what's happening on the ground, but they have people who brief them. Oh, these are the issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos pag nandun na sa harapan ng camera yung reporter, akala mo dami niyang alam. No. So, in the case of Vox Borders, the reporter, the videographer, understood that he's not an insider. So, he wanted to explain borders from the point of view of someone who does not understand it and then explains it to you via videos. If you have time, you can check him out. Rappler also has Safer Roads PH project. They have a microsite where they come out with videos, vlogs basically, by Vince Lasatin, different content. So essentially, it talks about an issue, a particular issue, roads, safety, and it attacks it via different aspects, and they also have different content. So there's Q&A, there's vlogs, etc. ABS has a dissecting data aspect where they talk about crucial issues of the day. Inflation, for example. So they explain to you using graphs and videos, in this case, inflation. Because, di ba, inflation is one of the biggest issues now. But from our point of view, many ways to explain it eh. If it's text, sino magbabasa niyan? Si Lola siguro, o kaya si Mommy, o kaya si Daddy who still has newspapers in the morning. Pero sa bata, how will he be able to appreciate na mahal na ngayon ang gulay? Hindi niya no. So, you have to help him, you have to give him a content that he will want to consume. My former colleagues who are now with Entrepreneur want to find out if the Duterte factor affect ABS-CBN and GMA share prices. Remember when Duterte was attacking ABS? Na parang, he attacked Rappler, Inquirer, then ABS. ABS kasi and GMA are listed companies. So, the editorial team wanted to find out may impact ba. And they showed it via a graph. It does. Meron nga. ABS-CBN mababa na. Okay. This is one of my projects when I was still with Forbes. And this is one of the infographics that was very engaging. It was shared, I forgot how many times, but this is one of our bestsellers, basically. And I've been in events where nagugulat na lang ako because they still use these infographics. Essentially, we called information about the different philanthropic entities of the richest of the rich in the country, and then we put them side by side. So here, the appointees are the ones who are the biggest givers, but it's the foundation of the Gokways who give the most. So these are conversation starters. Because people ask, bakit dito sa appointees, sa kabila si Gokways? And then, then it becomes engaging. They ask questions. It becomes a topic during dinners, during parties. Essentially, because that's what we wanted. We were starting with data, but it doesn't stop with just presenting the data. We wanted a conversation. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Lala and Sir Jonathan. In the interest of time check, medyo late na tayo for lunch. So we'll have the open forum or question and answer portion after the